guys, it's Alec Torelli. Welcome back to today's episode of Ask Alec. I brought a guest along with you. That's my horse in the background, Montana, and he's, there too. He's joining along for the show. So welcome our guest, please. All right, today's episode, Ask Alec, it was where I take your questions on poker and answer them in short videos, 5 minutes or less. Today's question comes from Jesse, who says, I learned poker. I'm a new player, learned mostly through weekly low stakes tournaments, and since have branched out to play more cash games, and has made me more confident in my game. Overall, I feel like I'm losing money, which of course there's a problem. But that's not his real struggle. He says, I win at cash games, but then play tournaments and keep coming up short. I don't really have the bankroll to be playing cash games regularly at the moment, so as a supplement, he's sort of using these weekly tournaments as a way to keep practicing and hopes that soon he'll make a big cash in the tournaments and then have the bankroll to play the cash games where he feels like it's a little bit more consistent and sustainable. So he says, long story short, I'm not sure what to be doing, but what do you suggest is a way to start playing poker regularly on a low stakes budget? Thank you for all your help, and Jesse. So, Jesse, it sounds like you're bouncing back and forth here between cash games and tournaments, and what I'm hearing from you is that you'd ultimately like to be able to play cash games more sustainably and not rely on the variance in tournaments to essentially build your bankroll and supplement your bankroll. But for some reason, it sounds like the tournaments you're playing are lower stakes buy-ins, and then you're able to play those more frequently in exchange of the cash games. So it feels like you must be able to play a smaller tournament, like a $3 or $5 tournament, and the cash games maybe require $30 or $40, so it's harder to get in those games for you, and you're playing the tournaments instead. What I would recommend is to keep doing what you're doing, but make it more a bigger separation between the stakes of games. So try and play even smaller tournaments than you're playing. Let's say you're playing $10 tournaments. Try and move down to make those tournaments be even smaller, because if you hit a big score, the amount of money you're going to win is going to be substantial enough to give you a bankroll for cash games, almost regardless of the size of tournament you play. So if you're really looking to hit that big win, and allocate a small percentage of your bankroll to taking big shots, and if that big shot for you is a tournament, I think that's great. I think it's, in any bankroll management situation, it's smart to have a small amount of your money be used for high-risk activities. And for you, and for a lot of poker players, that's tournaments, and that's great. Play the smallest tournament you can, especially in a spot where you don't really have a ton of bankroll to be a wiggle room, and you have a little bit of pressure to try and win. So if you play a $5 tournament or a $2 tournament, whatever, if you win first place, chances are that, or you make a final table, chances are that the money you make there is going to help play a relative cash game that'll be comparable for you, that you can actually now participate in more regularly. The second thing I would do is perhaps take a step back from this and say, okay, what's my long-term goal, and am I willing to forego some short-term regular poker playing or some static poker playing in the short term, like once or twice a week, and save up some money for 2 or 3 months to be able to play more consistently with more money that I've allocated towards poker after 2 or 3 months, to be able to play a cash game that's more sustainable. So maybe you take a step back from poker now, where you're kind of in that gray area where you're like, I don't really have enough to play, but I still want to play, and you're kind of like forcing it, and it's not working, and you end up playing, like, you get the worst of both worlds, where you're playing once or twice a week, but it's not really the style you want to be playing, and then you keep losing, and then you're like this hamster on a wheel that never gets any traction going. Why don't you say, okay, what is the minimum amount of money that I need to play the cash game I want regularly? And then you work backwards. You say, okay, how long is it going to take me to get that money? What things in my personal life am I going to give up or sacrifice to get that amount of money? Where am I going to save money in my personal life? How am I going to make more money or allocate money from my job or my personal life towards my poker? Maybe you're going to give up some subscriptions. Maybe you're going to not go out as much. Whatever it is, you start putting that money aside. But once you have a tangible goal, like $1,000 you need to save up to play poker, it's much more real, and it's easier to make the sacrifices and the steps you need to actually get there. So that would be my challenge to you. I think that you're going the right direction here, and I want to compliment you for trying to allocate your money and divide it between tournaments and cash games, and I think you're doing it in the right way. I think that having more of your money allocated towards cash games is a good thing, and it's going to be more sustainable future for you in your poker. My challenge to you is just to get a little more tangible on what it is you actually need, and create a serious step-by-step game plan, starting with what can I do today today, right now, to get me there, and how long is it going to take? Map that out, man, and I feel like it's going to give you the confidence and the tangibility you need to get there. So I hope you guys like this episode. If you want more from Ask Alec, you want to see more videos from me and my channel, go ahead and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. And if you guys want to have your questions answered on my show, go ahead and send them over to me, and I'll pick the best ones and answer them right here on this channel every week. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Cheers.